When building your round one sides for SuperCoach 2023, there are a lot of factors to consider. How many guns we're going to get? Are you targeting buys? You need to worry about them. Are you locking in your captains for, say, the first 5 to 10 rounds? Look, my name is the SCWhisperer. You are on the Dual Position Podcast YouTube channel. And today we'll be taking a deep look into my side. Pre-trials. Trials are going to change a whole lot of things. We've tinkered with the side many, many times. But today, we're going to take a look at my side heading into the trials from round one. And look, I'm pretty happy with it moving forward. The big thing, as you can see here, with the side, we've gone big up top. Look, we found the funds for Harry Grant. We've tinkered with Reece Robson. We've tinkered with Tanner Boyd. Brandon Smith has always been the consistent in this side. We found the money for Harry Grant. So just a bloke that set the world on fire last year for SuperCoach. The clear number one hooker this year. His competitor in Brandon Smith for the big minutes has sort of left the club. So the clear spot open up for Harry Grant moving forward. The only slight knock against him is he does have a slightly lower average. Without Ryan Pappenhausen in the side, however, I don't expect that to, really be a huge deterrent. Look, with my co-host Adrianosaurus, when we do our position podcast breakdowns right here on this channel, we'll take a deep look into Harry Grant because there are a few cons against his name moving forward. But for the first, opening 10 rounds, Harry Grant for me, really, really stable piece there in my side. As with Brandon Smith, look, last year for Cheese, it sort of fell off a little bit. He signed that pre-deal with the Roosters. He was, mentally checked out. He just didn't want to be there. He wasn't playing his natural position at hooker either. Go back to 2021. The bloke was a SuperCoach stud, just pumped out points for fun. And in a Roosters system here that's going to be catered towards him, they brought him in for a reason. It's sad to see Connor Watson go down, but that just leaves more minutes for Brandon Smith, in my opinion. The bloke is probably 20 points underpriced and could be, honestly, a bona fide season keeper if he produces at the same rate that he did for the Melbourne Storm in 2021. Moving into the front row, we've got Tom Gilbert now. Look, he's been a bit of a preseason bolter, in all honesty. Having Wayne Bennett confirm him for the 13, and in my opinion of the front row are not great at the Dolphins. You've got, Mark Nichols, Jesse Bromwich, just blokes that are not suited for playing big minutes, in my opinion. Tom Gilbert also can rotate through the edge if anything happens there. He's been given this 13 jersey. I really do think he's going to take this and play big minutes. And, dual position available at front row forward and 2RF, I think it's huge for him, and I think it's huge for his SuperCoach stocks. As with Daniel Saifidi, now one of the most popular players amongst all the videos, podcasts that you listen to, and I think it's for good reason. Now, you're going to have Mitch Barnett exit the club, you're going to have David Clemmer exit the club, some minutes are going to be there. Adam Elliott definitely will come in and take them, but I do think Daniel Saifidi bounces back to his best. Last year, had some niggles, was out of form, lost his origin spot to his brother in Jacob. I just think a desperate coach in Adam O'Brien is going to look towards his staples moving forward. And I think Daniel Saifidi being underpriced in that front row forward is definitely an option. Am I saying he's a season keeper? Absolutely not. But I do think he could be a great stepping stone to a Ruben Cotter, a Joe Tarpany, a Tino Fa'asul-Malawi. If you wanted to, use him as a stepping stone, generate some price and move forward. On the bench, look, I've got Jack Hetherington and Ben Murdoch-Masila. Now, I know you're probably sitting there thinking, well, there's cheaper options in Franklin Pele, Davey Mawali, Sean Kepi, and I do agree with you. I honestly agree with you. These guys are placeholders. Look, the way I've liked to structure my side is in a way that plan for the worst, and if anything better happens, then fantastic. I've picked some more expensive guys in Hetherington and Murdoch-Masila. So if we do get David Mawali, if we do get Franklin Pele, if we do get these cheaper guys, it is much, much easier for myself to downgrade than to find the funds elsewhere moving forward. Because in this current side that we have set up, there's only about $15,000 remaining in my salary cap. So that's the reason why I've gone those two. And look, if they do manage to stay there round one, I've got 3 great dual position guys in my front row forward that can easily slot around between front row forward and 2RF. Now, 2RF is where I've gone light. So I've had to make up the funds to go elsewhere. You can see, the backline part of it here already. We've gone pretty cheap. We've gone Adam Elliott, who, look, he's training with the rehab group at the moment. Does have that niggling hip issue that he struggled with last year in the back end. But I just think if he gets back to full fitness before round one and we get a good look at him in the trials, he's playing like good minutes, looking solid, I genuinely think he could be a season keeper. I think he could be number 4 2RF, number 5 2RF come season's end in your sides off the bench there. I think he could be pushing 65, 70 average. In games over 55 minutes last year, he did average 70 as well. So I know he's going to a lesser side in the Knights, but I just don't think that's going to matter. I think with him just cementing that role as a really good 13, he's been back and forth between middle and edge throughout his career, but under Ricky Stewart last year at the Raiders really found his home as a lock there in that Canberra Raiders side, and I think that transitions to the Newcastle Knights in all honesty. I know there is a vacant edge position there, and there are some worries that he may play there. And if he does, look, we'll move off him because I'm only keen at 13. But as it stands right now, Adam Elliott straight into my side, as is Teague Wilton. Now, I know with the presence of Wade Graham, it could be a little bit iffy up and down, but I just think Wade Graham's getting on in his career. He's happy to sit on the bench, transition through the middle when need be. Teague Wilton is a genuine big minute edge, and I think he's the future for this Cronulla Sharks side. Wade Graham has already come out and said that he's playing off the bench this year as it stands. And I just think Teague Wilton, 70-plus minutes on an edge is sensational for the price that he's at. And I'm not too put off by the Wade Graham, presence there at the moment. As with Luke Garner, you've got to have Viliama Kikau exiting the Penrith Panthers, so there's going to be big minutes opening up for someone there. And I think Ivan Cleary's brought Luke Garner in for a reason. Luke Garner, he's a solid 7 out of 10 footballer every week. You know what you're going to get. And I think that's what Ivan Cleary wants. He just wants a safe set of hands, someone similar to Liam Martin on the other side. Garner is not a game breaker like Kikau is. But I do think he's a great line runner, and he'll provide a lot of value to Luai and a lot of value to Talamane Isaac Tago at the back. So I just think he's underpriced, and you'll find that with a common sort of theme in my side. But just targeting underpriced guys who are going to rise in value and severely boost our team value for that middle parts of the season when we can make some moves and really bring in those guns. Now, on the bench, all the talk is that Jermaine Hopgood, former Penrith Panther, is locked down for that 13 jersey at the Parramatta Eels. And look, at his price, I just think it's a no-brainer to have him there. The question then becomes, do you play him week in, week out? And the way we structured our team up right now, Jermaine Hopgood is a staple in my playing 17 for round 1. And then we've also gone with 2 cheapies in Trey Mooney and Sean Bloor, who I definitely think will get their spot this year at times. So I'm not too sure what's happening with the status of John Bateman. The visa issue, if that holds him up in the UK for an extended period of time, then I'd probably expect Sean Bloor to fill his role. But if, Bateman does get here and he is playing on the edge, there's a lot of love for Justin Matamua out of Tigers talk. So he could be someone that takes over Bloor's place in my side. Look, I'm going to pick these guys now because I'm going to have them at some point in the season. And, at the moment, I just think they're great placeholders. They're, cheap enough for me to have in my side. They should still score some points and be a slow burn until they both inevitably get the start in their respective clubs. Now, at halfback, you can see we've gone big. Nathan Cleary, Nico Hines. Now, I'm a huge believer in Sam Walker. I really do love Sam Walker. And the only reason he isn't in my side is because of that round 4 bye. And we do have another Roosters player in this side further down the list. And I just don't want to have Walker, Brandon Smith, and a third Rooster in my side in key positions all come round 4, and I have to scramble to make changes. So, look, Cleary's out round 3. Not ideal, and he will be out with Garner. But we've limited it to 2 Roosters, limited it to 2 Panthers, and hopefully that gets them through. Do we need to say anything more on Nathan Cleary? The bloke's done it now for 3 or 4 years for SuperCoach. He's been the clear-cut number 1 halfback. And Nico Hines, was it a flash in the pan that we're going to get second season syndrome? If you are going to go without one of these 2 halfbacks, it would be Hines for me. I just think if I've got the cash there, I'm going to put him in and, probably not look to trade him all season if I'm honest, unless something drastic happens. The big concern with running Hines and Cleary was round 13 when they both had the bye. But with SuperCoach implementing this new best 13 scoring, having 2 guys sit out 1 week is not a huge issue. And if I can save a trade at halfback, barring injury and suspension and drastic drop-off for 4 more season long, then I'm stupid not to. So at the moment, we found the cash, gone those 2. We've also found the cash for Adam Dewey out of the West Tigers at, 5'8". This could easily be Matt Burton. It's going to be one of those 2. I had Munster in here for a bit, but we found the funds and spent them elsewhere. Dewey, for me, look, he's going to be on the weaker edge. From all reports, the Tigers are lining up with Brooks on the left with IPAP. You expect a lot of the ball to shift there, but don't expect Adam Dewey just to sit back and do nothing. He is a very Munster-type footballer. He wants to get his hands on the ball. He wants to get in the ruck, make some tackles, make some runs. We know Adam Dewey loves to, be a run-first 5'8", and I think that's really going to benefit SuperCoach. A goal-kicking, half in an improved Tigers attack. Adam Dewey's going to rival, guys in a similar price point at 5'8". Does lose centre wing eligibility this year, and we're only keen on Adam Dewey if he does start in the 6. There's been some talk that Dane Laurie's been training in the 6, but make of that what you will. At the moment, Adam Dewey is in my side, but this could easily become Matt Burton if we have to find the funds and go elsewhere. And we've partnered Adam Dewey up with Josh Schuster. Not much more to say here, really. Playing 6 for Manly, available in 2 positions, is going to be fantastic. A poor season off the bench last year, but skipped the World Cup to focus on a preseason. Looked like he's really trimmed down a fair bit. And just go watch Josh Schuster highlights in the halves. The bloke is, so silky with the ball, a big-bodied runner. I think DCE and Turbo are really going to, help him steer around. I think the debate just comes around whether you want him to be a staple of your playing, 17 week in, week out. And for me right now, it's a no, but, I still think there's plenty of value to be had here with, Josh Schuster at 5'8". Now, moving into the centres, you can see we've gone very fullback heavy here. We've got Hayes Perham as our first centre wing off the board. 370k fullback for the Canterbury Bankstown Bulldogs. If you haven't watched much of Hayes Perham, go watch a lot of his highlights because he is a very, very crafty fullback, a very, very handy fullback. Huge raps on him. We're basically getting his price on the wing, and we know SuperCoach is geared towards the attacking players, and if we can get him sweeping on the outside of some Kyle Flanagan or Matt Burton plays, he will definitely benefit with some try assists and try contributions. 370k for a fullback in an improved side, no-brainer for me to be picking that one there. The contentious one here is, Hamiso Tabuai-Fidow. Now, underpriced because he come off the bench at the Cowboys, and Wayne Bennett has confirmed he's the fullback at the Dolphins. We don't expect him to be putting up a whole lot of points in this Dolphins side. I think they really, really will struggle this year. And this one, could be moved on to whether it be Charlie Staines if he gets the fullback role, or Remus Smith if he does come back and ready for round 1 of his injury. But Hamiso is probably the one here in this centre wing back line that could be moved on. Isaac Thompson from South Sydney is another one that comes to mind that I could move to if my gut tells me to go away from Hamiso. But as it stands now, like I said, I'm happy to go the expensive option and downgrade if necessary. Charles Nickel-Klukstar, fullback for the Warriors, basically all but confirmed. We saw what he did in 2019, rookie fullback for the Raiders, backed up in 2020. 21-22, battled with some form, battled with some injuries, but, his heart always lies in New Zealand. He's back there now, they're going to be back playing footy. Although I do think they'll struggle to put up points, he's a fullback that really does, thrive off work rate. He's not someone that sits back and waits for the play to happen. I think he's got a good floor and a relatively okay ceiling for a fullback available in centre wing for, as much as he is mid 300Ks. Now, Tommy Talau is an interesting one. We've also picked him, Tigers. I expect him to line up in the left centre spot, on that Brooks and IPAP edge. He has a career average of 45, which, doesn't set the world on fire, but if he can pump that out consistently week in, week out, you'll take that. He'll be a slow burn, make some money. The big concern with him is coming back, off a major injury. It's probably going to take him some time to embed in. But, the talent is there for Tommy Talau, and at a bottom dollar price, or near enough bottom dollar price, in an improving side as well, that's sort of what's leaning me towards him. As I said, Isaac Thompson, Remus Smith, who's in doubt for round 1. Those two are probably the guys that I'm sort of considering outside of Remus Smith if we have to make this money work. Off the bench, Tyrell Sloan. Now, Sloan's a huge, huge gamble here because we're going to be sight unseen for the Dragons. They're going to have the round 1 bye, so they're not going to appear in Teamless Tuesday, and our sides are going to be locked. So we're going to have to gamble he does hold that fullback slot. What is in his favour is Jaden Sullivan in doubt, so that means Moses and Bai's hands are going to be probably tied up. And obviously Talatau Monet stood down, and Cody Ramsey unfortunately being ruled out for the season. So there's going to be some minutes open up there. And Sloan, he had the fullback spot last year, lost it due to some form, but you think with a full preseason and getting back into Anthony Griffin's system and just embedding himself into that, that'll be the play. We've also got Hayes Dunster on the bench as well. Now, with the injury to Wanga Blake and, Bailey Simonson being probably a little bit underdone, there could be a spot open up there. This one could be Skelton. This one could be Alamotti, depending on what sort of cheapies we get in the centre wing. As I said, we've got 15k to play over here, and if we can downgrade, whether it be Zach Sini, whether it be, Hayes Dunster, Sean Russell's out of the question. I feel he's a little bit too expensive to taking a punt on for a short term. So we're just fingers crossed that we do get a bottom dollar cheapie here And Alofa Khan-Piera from the Gold Coast Titans. This kid, probably the quickest in the NRL now. Faster than Hamiso, faster than Addo Carr. All but confirmed to be playing on the wing for the Titans. So, bottom dollar player, not a whole lot more to say here. If he's going to get 80 minutes in this Titans side, a Titans side who, yes, are poor, but they can still definitely put up points moving forward. Not much more to say there. And as you can see, the fullbacks, this is where it's get juicy. This is where we spent... Oh, sorry about that. This is where we have spent a lot of our cash. We've gone Tedesco, we've gone Latrell, and you can see we've slacked the captaincy armband on Tedesco. Playing round 1 against the Dolphins, I just think he's the best captain option. I am carrying Tyrell Sloan, and I've got the vice captaincy on Nathan Cleary. So we do get a free loop if Cleary goes huge, but all eyes will be pointing towards Tedesco. I mean, the bloke is just consistent year in, year out. Pappenhausen, with a lot of question marks over him. Travojevic with a bye in round 1, about round 2. Does he even play round 1? Just so many questions, and it all points towards Teddy for me. I think his availability is the best ability. I've said this before. He just shows up year in, year out, and you're paying for that, but you're paying for absolute quality and class. Does have the bye in round 4, which is why we are opting to go against Sam Walker in the halves. I don't want to have 3 guys I'm going to have to rotate out at fullback, halfback, and hooker. So, much more to come from Tedesco. I just think he continues to do what he does in an improved Roosters side. Fingers crossed they don't get battered with injuries. And Latrell Mitchell. We've also stumped up the cash for Trell. You can make an argument here to go Drinkwater. You can go cheaper into Reece Walsh. You can go someone like an AJ Brimson if you really wanted to go Potish. But for me, it just points towards Trell. I understand he has a hard draw to start the season, but he showed last year that he was fixture-proof. Having the goal kicking there in a South side who just can put up points regardless of who they're playing, I think the floor is safe enough. Latrell, he will float in and out of games. As an owner, it's going to be a tough watch. He will have 10 points after 30 minutes, but he could also have 100 points after 40. He's a bloke that can just put up points in a rapid succession. And look, if he gets a try assist, he gets a try assist, a line break assist, the goal kicks as well. So one attacking play is worth a fortune for Latrell Mitchell. So look, that's going to wrap up my pre-season side before the trials. There's been a lot of tinkering, all pre-season. We've gone with different combinations, but this is what we've sort of settled on. What I'm not overly happy with is obviously the centre wings. We've had to make sacrifices somewhere, and obviously the 2RF. When we're relying on Adam Elliott and Teague Wilton to be the guys that are leading, our 2RF, it's going to be a battle. But hopefully we make up those points with the likes of Harry Grant, Nathan Cleary, Nico Hines, Adam Dewey, and my 2 big boys at the back. Anyway, I've been the SuperCoach Whisperer. This has been my pre-trial team reveal. Hopefully you guys can take some inspiration. Any thoughts that you guys have on my team, please feel free to let me know in the comments below. You can also see on screen all my socials as well, so feel free to get involved over there. But sit back, footy is here. Me, myself, and my co-host, Adrianosaurus, will be back with the Dual Position podcast with all the position breakdowns moving forward. But until then, stay safe, have fun, and thanks for watching.